Welcome back, little Rhody listeners. This is going to be a little bit of a different podcast this week, per se. We're going to start trying to put some new stuff on the channel. Usually, you guys were used to the podcast, you see our faces and stuff, but we're going to try and do some different stuff because now we're broadening a range of people. So we're going to post some gameplay from games we play, like mostly sports games, but we maybe toss some, Josh likes Warzone and stuff like that, so maybe do some Warzone or Fortnite, something like that, but we're still going to talk sports every video no matter what, but just something different in the background. But today in the first video, as you can see, we're playing some 2K together, so that'll be the first thing we do, but we have a couple different topics we're going to talk about. But before we get into the topics, we already know that we are sponsored by
Anthony's Jewelers presents Rhode Island's biggest diamond, wedding band, and gold chain sale ever. Interested in buying a diamond at 60% off, a wedding band at 50% off, or gold chains at 65% off? Round diamonds, princess cut, and oval diamonds are being shipped at 60% off for this sale only. Go to anthonysjewelers.com to make an appointment or call 401-996-2100. Rhode Island's biggest diamond, wedding band, and gold chain sale ever. Now going on. Anthony's Jewelers, North Providence, where Rhode Island gets engaged.
Like I said, like the video basically explains to you, it's very easy. You can go right into the website, go into the reserve, and you guys just put your name in, first and last name, email, phone number, and pick a time, and you're in. It's very easy to get appointments in, so hopefully you guys can, if you go from our videos, hopefully you guys say, came from Little Rhody Sports Talk, and let Anthony know. But the first topic we're going to do today is I'll let Josh start off on this because he knows more of the statistical stuff than me. But do you think that Nikola Jokic is the leading contender for the MVP talk?
Absolutely. 100%. Like just what he does to make his team so much better. I mean, he leads them in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. So, I mean, I don't think any other player is doing that right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that how do I explain it? Like, he's one of those guys that's always around the ball. Like, he's literally their offense. Basically,
Yeah, he has a high usage rate, that's for sure. But he's very efficient though.
Yeah, he's like the white version of LeBron, like the big pudgy version of LeBron. He's going to give you the points, the rebounds, and assists every single game. He basically controls your offense. He's an on-court coach. I guess you could say also, like, to put it in terms of people who maybe don't watch basketball, maybe they watch our channel for football. It's like he's like the Tom Brady. He's like the quarterback of like the offense, like a top tier quarterback of an offense. So it's like he can change plays at the line of scrimmage. He can change plays in the half court.
And not only that too, just how he elevates people. I mean, he takes so much pressure off Jamal Murray because Jamal Murray is more of like a natural shooting guard, I'd say. But obviously he's a great ball handler. But just his playmaking ability allows Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. too to do more of their thing. You know, the second and third leading scorers on the team, and like he gets them so many open looks. Even Aaron Gordon now, he's a great addition to the team. I don't know what they are now with him, but earlier this week they were 4-0, so you know they're definitely trending in the right direction too, winning games.
Yeah, I think the addition of Aaron Gordon really elevates Nikola Jokic to another thing because
he kind of balances him out too. You know, he helps on defense. He's a very athletic forward.
Exactly. I think like when you have a center that's kind of all around like Jokic, it's important to have a power forward who can help you with rebounding and slightly with defense because Jokic isn't the best defender. So someone
100%.
who's athletic, but the fact that Aaron Gordon can also ball handle, the fact that you can run a pick and roll with your center and power forward, either or,
I know
vice
that's
versa,
crazy, right?
it's kind of crazy.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
The fact that the Nuggets, you can run pick and roll 1 through 5. Jokic can be the ball handler, and a point guard can come set a screen for them. It doesn't look like it makes sense, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense for that offense. And Mike Malone's a good coach, and he's creative, so I think that it's not out of the ordinary for what it's worth.
Yeah, 100%. So, like, besides Jokic, though, who would be next in line for MVP for you?
I think next in line, That's tough because there's a couple guys who have missed time
Mm,
due to injury who are statistically would probably be second on my list. I
yeah,
mean,
LeBron or AD.
I have Jokic first, but I mean LeBron's having a pretty good year. Kyrie's having a pretty good year, but those two have kind of missed some
James Harden
games.
too.
Yeah, so
I'd have
I
no
th-
problem with James Harden getting it, honestly, keeping the Nets afloat through all their injury problems.
yeah, I think if I were to pick a second, um, I would
And
probably
plus
just go
leading the
with
league in assists too at
yeah,
11 point something.
I would probably just pick Embiid just because I mean they're kind of going between first and second place right now
Mm.
with the Nets.
Embiid's missed too many games though, in my
He
opinion.
has, he has, and I know I
But
just said
yeah,
with like the injuries.
statistically, and like team impact, yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, like he's their anchor. He's the same thing with Jokic. He's gonna be the ball dominant guy. He's a better defender than Jokic.
Yep.
But they're different. They're two different type of centers. Jokic gets the ball. He's looking for teammates first, then score second. Embiid to score first, then teammates second. When Embiid gets the ball in the post, that ball's not coming out. But there's a
No,
good
not at all.
chance
But
that Embiid,
he's 7 feet.
yeah, he's a monster.
Big body.
He's gonna get you 2 points and
Yeah, he's not missing
most of the
much in the
time.
paint.
But I mean, if I were to pick a third one, I would just go with LeBron, just because you can see now the impact the Lakers, which will be our second topic in this video. You can see the Lakers are kind of struggling with when there's no LeBron and no Anthony Davis. I mean, obviously,
Mm.
when you lose your two main players on your team, it's like that's like if the Nuggets are to talk about Jokic. Like if you take away Jokic and Jamal Murray on the Nuggets, they're going to struggle because now you're
Oh, they're
losing
bottom of the
your
barrel
team
without them too.
identity is gone. So now with no LeBron, no Davis, it's like the team identity's gone, and that's
Yeah,
what's like
see,
hurting
I
the
agree with you
Lakers.
in that point, but at the same time, they're missing too many games for me. And just
Yeah,
what James Harden's doing, like, just how he switched up his play style too, going from like score first to pass first. I think that's so impressive. And keeping the Nets in second place in the East while, like, amongst their injuries throughout the team.
yeah,
For me, that's really impressive. But I think Jokic deserves it. He's never gotten it. And Giannis, I don't think he's really improved enough to like stay MVP for 3 years in a row. It's not like he added anything crazy to his game, and they're in third place in the East, so that kind of cancels him out. But obviously, he's still high in the race. He's probably five or whatever.
yeah. That's like the crazy part. It's kind of an open race this year. I do think Jokic is kind of in the lead and he's gaining steam towards moving up in the lead. But
Right.
there's kind of 10 guys in the league right now. Like if you look at a lot of the lists, I mean, you could put Lillard up there. You could put
Oh,
Giannis. You
absolutely.
could put Doncic up there. Doncic, however you say it. Obviously, you said Embiid. We mentioned Kyrie and Harden. You can even put. I mean, he's not putting up the sexy stats. But you could
Right.
probably put Chris Paul up there just
Yeah, I was
because
just gonna say, what about Chris Paul or Devin Booker? I mean, the Suns are having a terrific year.
look at the difference. I mean, just because statistically, Chris Paul's not bouncing eyeballs out at
Yeah, but
people
it's
with
not a coincidence that he took the Suns to the second best team in the West
yeah,
as of right
and
now.
and I don't think they're a joke team. I know I may or may not have mentioned before in an earlier podcast that I don't really believe in the Suns. I said that based in a way of like I don't believe them
But you know
yet.
what?
Like
Everybody
you wait
everybody
to see it.
expected, nobody's gonna give you a hard time for being skeptical of the Suns. Like they were unproven. Yeah, you just had to see it. That's the thing. Like
Exactly.
on
Like
paper, they have the potential to do it, but they're the Suns, so
yeah, it's just more
like
like
can they?
it's a consistency thing. Like a lot of those
Exactly.
teams start off hot and then they kind of like fizz out and you're like, okay, this is it. This is like they reach their peak and they're a second round exit. Like it wouldn't surprise me if they go to the conference finals. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary either if they go to the finals either, just in general. But there's so many teams in the West that are
That'd
loaded,
be a
just
lot of
like the
fun to
Suns.
see. I would
Yeah,
love that honestly as an
and
NBA fan.
and if there's an NBA player that deserves,
Or the Jazz too. The Jazz or the Suns seeing or the Nuggets too. I'm gonna go those three teams. It would be amazing to see
yeah,
make it to the finals.
if there's an NBA player, and I think you can agree with me with this, if there's an NBA player that deserves a ring, it's Chris Paul. I mean, he's done nothing wrong his whole career. He's statistically been really good. He's gone to teams and made them better. You know,
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
think his best chance so far of winning was part of the either um, the Flying Clippers or the Rockets. But
No,
unfortunately, the
definitely the
Rockets were
Rockets.
toxic. The Rockets were
Yeah, but
toxic,
the thing was though too,
and he got
like a
hurt.
lot of people think, yeah, if he didn't get hurt in that conference
Yeah,
finals weren't they up 3-2 or
They
whatever?
were up 3-2, and then he hurt his
Yeah,
hamstring.
and then he didn't. Then he missed the last two.
Yep.
A lot of people think, and I could see it happening too, that the Rockets won that series and
Yeah.
did go on to win the NBA championship.
Yeah. I mean, there's like we said, the MVP race is so
It is
so
pretty
wide
open,
open.
which
I
is kind of
mean,
fun too. It's fun for the league.
yeah, like I think if you were on 1 to 10, just to finish up on the topic, I think Jokic, 10 out of 10, I'd pick him. But a lot of guys are on like the 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 scale right now. They're not far behind. They're
Yeah, I
they're
agree.
right there. There's no one like that's so far ahead that's really blown you out of the water. But just to go back, our second topic for the video we wanted to talk about was the Lakers. And I mean I'm not worried about the Lakers. I'm just saying, do you think like the Lakers are gonna give themselves, just because of the injuries? I mean, it's not their
Yeah,
fault, but just because of the injuries, I think it's gonna put themselves on a harder road because now they're down to like the 5 or 6
yeah.
seed.
So the question is, are the Lakers in trouble?
Yes. So like, I don't think so, but I
Currently,
think
they
it's a
sit
fair
in fifth
question to ask.
place.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
they'll
a fair
never
question
have,
to
if
ask.
they do finish in fifth, let's just say hypothetically they do, they'll never have home advantage unless, like, there's a lower seed upset.
Yeah.
But, that's not good either.
Yeah,
I
it's
could say they could be because, coming back with chemistry problems, but, AD and LeBron will know how to, like, put it together. But my question is, like, for the new role players like Andre Drummond, how will he fit in with, like, AD and LeBron and
yeah,
everyone too, like all the new guys?
that's gonna be a
It'll
big
be interesting.
chemistry thing because
Yeah, exactly.
Schroeder missed a bunch of time as well, and it's still his first year. If people don't remember that, it's
Oh
still
yeah,
his first year with
exactly.
the Lakers. They do have some, pieces from last year's team that are still here, but I mean, it's still Harrell's first year. It's Schroeder's first year. Drummond joined at the deadline, basically, or through the buyout market.
Right.
So it's like you don't have like last year when you had Rondo and familiar faces on the team that have been there and or veterans and stuff. Like Schroeder is, I guess, a veteran now. Harrell is kind of a veteran now. They've been in the league a couple years, and Harrell's been on the Clippers, so he's been on playoff team.
Yeah,
Schroeder was on
true.
the Hawks, went like the Hawks last couple years before they went into a
Yeah,
rebuild.
he's always been a solid point guard.
So they have what it takes to be good in the playoffs. They've been to the playoffs. They know what it's like. So I'm not worried about the Lakers
No, I'm
based
really
on
not
team
either.
roster. I
If
think
they're
it's
fully
just a
healthy,
tougher
they're
road.
probably the favorite to win it still, to be honest.
Yeah, because now if you think about it, I mean, we were just talking about Jokic and MVP and stuff like that. If the season ended today, what's today? Um, April 9th?
Yeah.
April 8th. Today's April 8th.
Yeah, April 8th. Yep.
So the Lakers would be facing the Nuggets in the first round. And then if they win that game, they're playing the winner of the Suns and Mavericks. So we just talk about the Suns are massively improved. Just talk about how the Nuggets have MVP, and just added Aaron Gordon at the deadline on top of already a good Nuggets team that was just in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers last year. So it's like that road right there is not
No, it's
not
not easy at
easy.
all. You're gonna really have to prove yourself.
I mean, any West thing, even if the Lakers are the 2 seed, they'd be facing the Mavericks in the first round. That's still not a tough. That's still a tough first round. Don't get me
That
wrong,
is,
but
yeah.
it gives yourself home court. And by then, I don't know how the vaccines are going to work with NBA and stuff and playoffs, but you're still going to have some sort of fanfare this year, whether that's 12%, 15%, 20%, whatever it is.
Yeah,
You're going to
depending
get
on the city,
fans.
more or less. True.
Yeah, so the home court kind of matters a little bit. You're still going to get your fans, not much, but
Yeah,
you'll
and I
feel
will
it.
say this too. If you like, let's just say the Mavericks did upset the Suns. The Mavericks have been on a roll lately too. They've been playing much better in the
Yeah.
second half of the year. They started pretty slow, but now that they got things rolling, so they're better than a 7 seed. So if you do have to play them in the second round, that's not easy.
Yeah, it's tough, and that works for any team, honestly, that are
Yeah,
going through
exactly.
injury
True.
history. It's just more noticeable on the Lakers right now because they were pretty sure the 2 seed and around the 1 seed. There were a couple games back because the Jazz have just been good all year, but
Yeah, the Jazz have like held
they've
that
been
pretty
around the
strong.
2 seed, so now they've dropped 3 spots, which it's kind of still of a cluster right now. I mean, the
It
Lakers are a
is.
game and a half behind the 4 and 2 games back behind the 3, so they can move up 2 spots easily on a win streak. But it's tough to get that win streak going when you're missing like 60 points, 20 rebounds, and 15 assists a game with Defensive Player of the Year and Anthony Davis and MVP candidate LeBron, and like
Absolutely.
it's tough to rely on Kyle Kuzma. to pick up the slack because Kyle Kuzma is not really the greatest player in the world to pick up slack on all NBA character
No, they need
players.
LeBron all day
So,
and AD.
so all in all, I think Josh and I agree that I don't think we're worried about the Lakers. I think that it's just chemistry they need to get faster this year because of injuries, and
A lot of practice, a lot of practice hours got to be put in for them, to say the
now
least.
your home court advantage might be gone by the time they can get back. I mean, I've seen rumors that LeBron and Anthony Davis are supposed to come back in mid-April to end April, so that's
Yeah, I've
not the
seen that
worst.
too.
And they're gonna have time to get a string of games going, so I'm
Mm.
not too worried about that. But the answer's that. What was the third topic? Oh, the third topic was we want to talk about Paul Pierce, who's been in the news recently for
Gotta love him. Good
doing some
old Uncle
stupid
Paul Pierce.
things. Now, like I said before, what he did is not wrong by any chances, but at the same time, he does work for a very professional company that kids and stuff like that watch, and people follow Paul Pierce. So what he did was not appropriate technically, and you know this funny part is that nobody's talking about this is that he's got like a wife.
I know,
So
right? Yeah, she must be
I'm
pissed.
more worried for Paul Pierce's like actual living, like him
And he's
being
got young
a
kids
living
too, right?
being, because I feel like his wife might kill him for that. But
He's still alive. I'm
but the
sure
whole
he's. I'm sure he's been sleeping on the couch though for a
yeah,
while.
yeah, probably. But the whole point I want to bring up Paul Pierce is now where do we think Paul Pierce is gonna go? Because he then tweeted out a couple times after he was fired, like winky faces, you saying like, something big's happening soon. So my
Yeah,
first
a lot of
reaction
hints
was
are being
Barstool.
dropped. Yeah,
Yeah,
mine too.
I think he's gonna go to Barstool. I mean, nobody really thought that Deion Sanders was gonna go to Barstool, and he's more of a appropriate and professional name where he's not out there like that. He still went to Barstool, so I think it wouldn't surprise me if he
And
really
plus,
did go to Barstool.
Portnoy wouldn't care anyways. He's obviously had scandals on his own of
Yeah,
things being leaked.
yeah.
So I don't think
The
he's
last
too
thing to worry
concerned
about is
about,
that.
yeah, the lifestyle choices of Paul Pierce.
Yeah,
As long as he gets the job done, goes and puts his stupid takes on TV or whatever.
yeah. All in all, he's a good NBA, like he's a good NBA voice. He's a veteran. He's a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's a cool guy too. He's not a bad person
Yeah,
whatsoever.
he doesn't have background of doing dumb things like that. I don't know what he was doing that time, but whatever
Yeah,
he
no
did,
comment on his personal life choices from me.
yeah.
He's a free man.
And we don't know him personally,
Yeah.
so who knows what he's doing in his
Yeah, true,
personal
true.
free time. But there's not too much more there. We're just wanted to hit on the fact that maybe he's gonna go to Barstool or something like
Yeah.
that. The next two topics are actually big topics because you're a big fan of this player. Jrue Holiday recently got a 4-year, $160 million extension, and that's kind of a massive contract. But
It is.
in all fairness, everything is not based off what you see on stats. Everything is not based off what you see on just watching one quarter of basketball. Jrue Holiday is like your 2000s type player, where he still is offense orientated, but everything is also revolving around his defense first.
Yeah, let's be honest. He's one of the best two ways in the league.
Yeah,
Defensively, he's locked in on every play.
he's a great combo guard. There's
He
nothing
is.
wrong with the Jrue
Yeah, he can play
Holiday.
shooting guard, point guard. He goes, he's very that's the good thing about him. He's so versatile. He'll give you he could fit into any team. He's never gonna not fit in.
Yeah, just to pull it up right now. I know his new extension hasn't gone into um information yet because I think he also did get a player option. Yeah, he did get a player option at the end of his deal too. So
Yes, he did.
he signed similar for like the Celtics fans. I mean, we've watched Al Horford, not Kyrie Irving, Al Horford and Gordon Hayward signed the 4-year contracts with the player option at the end. It's very similar to that. Um, Same thing with Kemba Walker too. So basically, in 2021 and 2022, he makes 30 mil.
Yeah, 30.1 million, and he'll
And
be
then
the 32nd highest paid player in the league. Just to put
yeah,
that in perspective,
yep,
and just to compare that to other players, he'll be making more or less than D'Angelo Russell and Gordon Hayward. And obviously, when you compare Jrue Holiday to those two players, I'd say he's much better than D'Lo. But Gordon Hayward, I'd say that they have a similar impact on the game. Maybe you could go like I don't know. You could basically pick whoever you want at that point, who you think's better. They're pretty similar in my opinion, but he'll also be making more than C.J. McCollum, uh, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, Pascal Siakam, Ben Simmons, and Kevin Love. So like comparing him to all those players too, it makes sense.
Yeah, and there's no reason. You also got to remember this. Sometimes, like when teams make trades, like we didn't even think about this the first time. When when people make trades with players and they give a bunch of assets, the main goal is that they have in mind of retaining that player. Because there's no point. I think they gave up a bunch of picks for Jrue Holiday and players. So the Milwaukee Bucks did. For people that don't know what team he's playing on, I hope you do by now. But he, the whole point of it sounds like a lot, but now it's worth it because now the Bucks are getting a bang for their buck.
Yeah,
No pun
exactly.
intended.
And actually, I
So
meant to say, just to correct myself quick, those players like C.J. McCollum, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, Pascal Siakam, Ben Simmons, and Kevin Love, they actually all make more than they'll be making more than Jrue Holiday next season.
yeah, and
Just
I'm
to correct
picking
myself quick.
I'm picking Jrue Holiday over all those players.
Minus Ben Simmons, I agree with you.
Yeah, Ben Simmons kind of worth it, obviously.
Yeah,
Ben Simmons is a superstar type player.
he is. He'll probably be Defensive Player of the Year, but just to stay back on topic. And plus, not only that too, like look how well he's been playing lately. In his last 8 games, he's been averaging over 23 points per game, 69% true shooting on like tremendous shooting splits, like 59% from the field, 50% from three, and 84 from the free throw line. And then getting like over 7 assists and almost 5 rebounds plus 2 steals a game. And
Yeah,
that's like in his last 8.
I
So
think
he's
he's
been,
finally hitting his
he's been
stride.
going off. Yeah, exactly.
I think if I might you might have to correct me on this, Josh. I'm pretty sure he also had COVID during the
Um,
season. I
I
know
think
he
you're
missed
right
some time.
actually.
I don't know if it was because of injury or because of COVID. I think it was from COVID though, and
No, that definitely sounds right.
I think that you have to take that in consideration this year as well. That like some players got COVID or had to go into protocols and were fine. They came out, but a lot of
Right.
players who actually had it and you realize that they stayed on the injury list for like 2+ weeks. I think Jrue Holiday missed some time, so it's good to see him hit his stride for one that he's healthy.
100%.
And for two, it's like when you change cities, change teams, change programs and stuff, it's tough because Jrue Holiday is not like an overpowering offensive player where he can't just come in and go anywhere he wants and get 25 plus a game. He still can. He has the ability. He's a good shooter. He's a good finisher. But he's not like that type of guy where that's his first thing on his mind. Like a
Right.
scorer like similar to Devin Booker or Jason Tatum where they care more about getting 30 a game, where Jrue Holiday cares more about getting 15 points and a win, but he looks at the box score and goes, "Oh, I had a block and 2 steals. I caused 4 turnovers. I had seven
Yeah, exactly.
deflections." That's what Jrue Holiday
He's
does.
locked in just to get the win.
So just because in 3 years from now, 4 years from now, oh, he makes 37 million a year, but if he's giving you 25 and 5 a game, good shooting, he's a good outside shooter as well. So he works with Giannis. He's a good spot up shooter. He can shoot off the dribble as well. So it makes sense for a team, especially with Giannis, where they just locked him up as well on a super extension. So
Right. Yeah, they're in a win now situation, so they're going all out.
yeah, so this is a team that may or may not also lose Middleton in the future, that they need to get someone, a second superstar or just star player, depending how you view Holiday. They needed to keep someone with Giannis. So it makes
Yeah,
sense. Like I said,
absolutely.
they traded a bunch of assets for him too. So you need to make sure you lock down those players. Any player that got traded at the deadline, you could tell this teams that were like, okay, this is a rental. We know it's rental. But it's like they didn't want Jrue Holiday to be a rental. This is a guy that's still, what is he, 29 years old? 30 years old right now.
Yeah,
So
30.
he's still in his prime. 30 years old is a weird number to some people. For some reason, they think, oh, they turns
I know,
30.
yeah, as soon as you
Downtown
start
career.
turn 30, you're like done. Your
No,
NBA career is over.
that's not how it works anymore. These
Especially with
players
like
are
new
freak
modern
athletes.
technology and medicine and like,
Yeah,
sports medicine. These
these
guys
guys
are
are
lasting so
freaks.
much longer. Yeah, absolutely.
And also not even obviously on top of the medicine like you just mentioned. It's just the fact that these guys are pure freaks. Like these guys are working out 10 times more. They keep taking care of their body weight times more, even without medicine, just through weights and stretching and stuff like that. Like way more of a you know
Yeah,
modernized
like
approach to it.
yeah, just like the studying and like the research. They just like they know how to make the bodies last, basically,
Yep.
in
So
sports in general.
I think we hit a good amount of that. We still got a couple minutes left. We got around 8 more minutes left. We want to talk. So the last topic we have now, this is going to vary different ways, and I know me and Josh have very different topics on this because we talked about this probably for like 3 years straight at this point. Um, the question I wrote down was: is the NBA becoming an unwatchable product due to buyout market / trade market / all-star game and ref play? Now, the reason why I put those specific things is because the buyout market, for one, this year in 2021 has turned out to form the super team Nets, for one. For two, the reason why I picked the All-Star game is because now we've seen in recent, especially for a Celtics fan, you single-handedly saw Kyrie Irving be recruited and talk to Kevin Durant about joining up on a different team while he was on the Celtics under contract. So that's what happens at All-Star games. It's basically free what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm
Uh,
trying to think, like, it's free negotiating, but it's
yeah,
like it's like fraudulent. You're under contract with a different team. You shouldn't be talking to another guy about joining up in the offseason somewhere else. So that's what happens at the All-Star game. It's
it's a little
tampering.
corrupt. Yeah,
That's what I meant.
tampering. Yep.
That's what I was looking for. It's tampering. It happens, but it happens in every sport. But just specifically in the past couple of years, I've seen it now with just NBA. So I'm curious to get your thoughts on. It doesn't have to be on those things, but just the NBA in whole.
My biggest problem with the NBA watching a game, the average TV game, I think just lasts too long. Like with all the TV timeouts, regular timeouts, um, just all the stopping to review plays, free throws, like fouls in general being called. It's pretty tough for someone to sit there for 2.5 to even 3 hours sometimes and just watch one game. Like that's a good chunk of your day. I mean, how many people like have that kind of free time to sit there and watch one whole game? Not a lot of people, let's be honest. So in that respect, yeah, it is becoming a little unbearable. Like they got to do things to shorten it up. I know they're working hard to do it, and there's only so much they can do. But like, if it were up to me, I'd urge the league to explore very strongly and try to shorten up the game somehow and watch time.
Yeah, I agree on definitely on that format as well. I wasn't even thinking about the ads and sponsorships and stuff like that. That's causing so many commercials. It's
Oh
it's
yeah, it's a little
my
unbearable.
my favorite part. Just to put an example is like you could watch. I'll mention the Celtics again. It's like you can watch Celtics game. It's like, okay, Brad Stevens calls a timeout with 8 minutes and 12 seconds left, and
Yep.
then you get a stoppage in play because you get the under 8 timeout on the next play. It could be 7:59 left, and you get an under 8 timeout. So it's another
Hmm.
TV timeout. So you had a regular timeout that went to commercial, then a TV timeout no less than 5 minutes later, and stuff like that. So I don't know what happened to Josh. I think he just left, but I'll just keep going. Just to finish up on my comments, I think it's like the NBA to me is becoming fraudulent in a way where there's no competition. It's turning into like a no competition league. That's just what it is. The fact that it's becoming like just look at the Nets. It's I'm gonna follow you here. I'm gonna follow you here, and then we're gonna recruit this guy here and James Harden. Yes, you traded for him, but it's like okay, we're gonna Durant and Kyrie. We're gonna sign here. We're gonna get DeAndre Jordan to come here. We're gonna get him here. Now in the buyout market, oh, Blake Griffin wants to leave the Pistons. We're gonna recruit him here now. Oh, Aldridge gets bought out. All right, we're gonna go with Aldridge now. So that's just me for how I go. And then the other reason why I picked like the NBA becoming an unwatchable product is the refs. And I think that the refs have become like I don't even know how to explain it anymore. I think I'm not the only person who also agrees with this as well.
They're soft. Let's just be honest.
Exactly.
That's the best way to put it.
They are so they think that they're part of the game. That's the biggest thing. They think
Yeah, it's
that
like they want to steal the spotlight.
yeah, like nobody the fact that we know actual refs' names, that's the problem.
That
As
is
a
the
ref,
problem.
we shouldn't know your name. The viewer should not know who you are before the
Absolutely
game even
not.
starts. That's the problem. If you know the person's name, do you know they're a bad ref, or they know that
Yep,
the
pretty
ref,
much.
you know this person's gonna call a technical because he slammed the ball on the ground after a bad foul call.
He
It's
looked
like,
at him funny.
yeah, it's just like you're not part of the game. There's no reason for the ref to cause or be the reason why the game outcome is the way it is. That's just
Yeah,
me.
absolutely.
I'm okay with someone getting a technical foul in the second, third quarter.
Yeah, when it's rightfully owed.
You can tell me, oh, well, they lost by one, they didn't get the technical foul. I'm like, yeah, that's the second quarter though. You had a whole half of basketball to come back, do what you had to do. That's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly.
It's the fourth quarter. This team is down 2 points. They drive to the basket, they get hit hard, no foul call. On the other end, the team scores, but then the other team is still complaining. Now you're down four, but the team that's complaining losing by four gets a technical foul.
Yeah,
Now the
that's
team is
another
down
big problem with the
six.
NBA that people don't like. It's like the crying and complaining to the refs. And this
Oh yeah,
obviously has nothing to do with the refs, but just the mentality of the players like, "Oh, I didn't get a foul called for me, so I'm going to bitch about it for 2 minutes instead of getting back on defense."
yeah. That's the one thing. It's like I agree that the refs deserve to not be part of the game like that. But Josh, what you said is spot on. This whole league, like this new, it's like Gen Z. Let's just pretend I think this new era of basketball is Gen Z, where everything needs to be handed to them.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be, oh, I missed this shot, but I got my elbow poked. I'm
Yeah,
gonna complain to the
exactly.
ref. I'm not gonna get back on defense. But my coach doesn't care because that's just what the NBA is
Yeah,
now.
I got slightly grazed, so I need to go to the free throw line and shoot three free throws
Yeah, there's
on my
there's no
bad three-pointer
more
attempt and get bailed out.
there's no more tough era uh players anymore. There's no more there's some of your old fashioned players like Chris Paul and stuff like that. Yeah, everybody still complains. There's no worries about that. But
Yeah,
it's those
it's just
old
the
players like Chris
excessiveness of
Paul.
it.
Yeah, like guys like that. Those are the best players to watch. Those are the players that you should still want to watch. But unfortunately, they're still in the league that's becoming an unwatchable product.
Yeah. I will say this though, to play devil's advocate, because of the pace of play and it's a very high-powered offensive league right now. In that respect, it's very entertaining. Especially when teams are trading off shots, when they're going back and forth, like it's just a don't miss moment in the NBA, which is awesome, and that's like all fans could ask for. And it's like in moments like that, the game's just flowing. Like the refs are biting the whistle a little more, and not like calling stupid calls. Um, when you get a good game like that, in my opinion, that's when that's what you want. It's perfect, but unfortunately, that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, like that should be the product you're going for. That's
Yeah.
just what it is. But yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say about it. We hit all the topics we really needed to for this video. I mean, we like the fact that we could talk about hypothetical stuff like this. We want you guys to tell us more questions or more topics like this for videos like this. Um, we can still name a bunch of things we can go through of older players, new players, any sport too as well. It doesn't have to be just basketball.
Yeah,
Um,
feedback is always appreciated.
but yeah, I think that's going to be the end of our topics for this video.
Yep.
So I hope you guys enjoy. I want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, just like we do.
All that good stuff. Please and thank you.
And then, like the sponsor at the beginning of the video, remember you guys go back to Anthony's Jewelers. If you guys want jewelry, anything like that, that's the place you need to go, especially if you're in Rhode Island. Like I said, how easy it is to go online and get an appointment. There's no reason for you to not do it. You can even call as well if you're not good with the technology and stuff like that. The phone number will be on the video, just like we show you. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great night. Josh, you got anything last to say? Go
Nope.
for it.
Oh, well, yeah, just for it would make a huge difference for the people who do watch our videos and like them. If you're not subscribed already, to subscribe, that would make a huge difference for us and help us grow our channel. And if you don't, I'm going to turn into a Terminator and come and find you. In
Yes.
case you forget, I'll be checking. Ha ha
Yep.
ha. Just kidding, but stay safe, everybody.
All right. See ya.